Yes, everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Genesis, and I'm very happy to come back with a brand new video. This time round, I'm taking you on a trip to show you around the Kasubi Tombs, one of the most historical things in the Buganda Kingdom that make up Buganda Kingdom. What you don't know about Buganda Kingdom, what you need to know about the great Kasubi Tombs. So we are here, as you can see, and I'm excited to take you around the trip. But before we go even deeper, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to get you content like this. Thank you so much.
This house is called Ujabukula. It's a Luganda word which literally means the kingdom is growing step by step. So the king started here initially as they were working on the big palace. And after it was finished, he moved to the big one. So meaning that the kingdom is growing step by step. When you look at the roof of this building, it gives you a real example of how they used to build king's palaces. It's in form of a basket put upside down. We have those black rings on top. They were made in 1882 by the owner of this palace, King Mutesa I. Those rings are never allowed to touch the ground, but in case it happens accidentally, they are supposed to invite the current king to come and raise them himself. So the artisans are very careful when it comes to those black rings. The rest each represents a clan that participated in the building of this house. Uganda has 56 clans, but not all of them participated on this one. Though all the clans which were there in 1882, 52 of them participated in the building of the main one. So we shall see all those rings. This kingdom is found in the southern part of Uganda, and it covers a quarter of Uganda's land. We are approximately 12 million people, Buganda, out of 44 million in the whole country, basing on the recent census. And so, Buganda shares the biggest part. Uganda shares the biggest percentage. Uganda as a country has over 38 tribes. But Uganda started as a small nucleus far back in history. It grew at the expense of the neighbors by conquering land, assimilating the people, intermarried with them, and they became members of this kingdom. Hence, we came to the current size of Buganda. We don't have the word foreigner in Buganda, basing on that fact. Because how can one be a foreigner within a kingdom that has grown at the expense of the rest? The word Buganda means together, means united, or a cluster, if we do a direct translation, means a bundle. We were a small group, but when we kept on adding, we formed a big group of Uganda. So the kingdom is Buganda, the people are Baganda, one person is Muganda, the language is Luganda, the country is Uganda. 5 words almost sound similar. That says a lot, that the country gets its name from the kingdom's name. It's also a fact that there is no way you can talk about Uganda's history and you don't mention the 4 kings resting here. Either your research will be incomplete, or maybe you're hiding something. But the 4 kings resting here are directly attached to Uganda's history. So, where we are was the palace of Mutesa I, the 31st king of Buganda. And this king created a new chapter of the current Buganda. We've been led by 36 kings in total, but the past kings were managing this kingdom in a more typical African way. No international connections, no foreign visitors. It was Buganda. But Mutesa's reign, we started seeing international connection. When he received the first explorers like Speke and Grant, who were searching for the source of the Nile. We also saw Henry Morton Stanley. Henry Stanley was an English-American journalist who was sent to find Dr. Livingstone dead or alive. The family had lost contact of this gentleman and were a bit worried. And they had no mobile phones like we have today. In case a parent is worried, can just call. So they had to send Henry to come and find out. And lucky enough, he found him in Tanzania at a place called Wujiji. That's where he said the common slogan, Dr. Livingstone, I presume. But he expanded his adventure in Buganda and he met Mutesa I. It was the first time our king heard about reading, writing, Christianity, the Western culture, and he was impressed. The skills of keeping our records were needed, reading and writing. So that's when he asked Stanley to send him teachers that can teach his people these skills. He created a new chapter of a modern Uganda, up to date. So today we remember Mutesa for his visionary support of education in our country. We shall continue to have more history about this king as we walk around. Feel free to take pictures and also ask questions. You're most welcome. So in here we have the royal drums. The drums which were used for communication. A drum is royal when it goes through the traditional ceremonies needed to confirm it a royal drum. In 1856, when King Mutesa I was being crowned the king, he was crowned with a set of 1,000 drums. And most of these drums are still here. Some are being kept in a different locations, our culture sites, and the sensitive drums are very close to the current King's Palace under tight security. A drum is very crucial in our culture and traditions. It's used in happiness and in sorrow. We use them here for communication. When there is a newly born royal member or a king's child, they acknowledge this by sounding the royal drum. When they come to visit this place, they do the same. And in case the royal member has died, they have to play one of these drums. There are three main drums that define the royal family. The first one is the huge one in the middle. That one is called Mujaguzo. Mujaguzo means celebration. It's a Luganda word which means celebration. That one is only played for king's children. When they are born, when they visit this place, or when they die. The second drum, and the second in rank, is this one. This is called Bantadde. Bantadde is a Luganda word that means I have been liberated. I have the liberty. This is played for only king's grandchildren in the same three occasions. The third drum and the last in rank are the two small drums. Those are those are played for king's great grandchildren. So, if anybody claims to be a member of the royal family of Uganda, the next question will always be, you belong to which drum? Do you belong to Mujaguzo? Are you a king's child? Do you belong to Bantadde? Are you a grandchild? Or you are a great grandchild? That way, people are able to tell how close you are to the throne. We cover them with this back cloth. This is a very special cloth in Uganda, and we call it the back cloth. I don't know if you've seen it before. Many years ago, or almost 700 years back, the Buganda people initially used to wear cow skin, but this was rough on their bodies. They did not stop thinking of a solution, and they came up with this idea of making the back cloth. This is got from fig tree. They peel off the tree bark gently without hurting the trunk and pound it with a grooved wooden mallet so it can expand 10 times from the original size. When we sun dried, it turns this color. This is natural color, no chemicals added in here. So when a king was traditionally dressed, he's expected to wear this. The family, the common people, they wear the same cloth. In the past, a stable family was required to have lots of fig trees within their gardens, for the back cloth was more like the medium of exchange. To pay rent, to pay fines, taxes, and also dowry. This was part of the requirement. So when we get it from the tree, we don't cut the tree, but we cover the tree trunk with banana leaves so it can heal, gain the moisture, and produce a new skin after 3 or 4 months. So it's eco-friendly. 2001, UNESCO picked interest in this material and researched on it. Finally, it was added in the World Heritage Material. We are now seeing it in Kenya, in Germany. The recent Mercedes-Benz new class has the interior with back cloth. Adidas, a company that makes a couple of things, they have also started using the same material. So they strongly believe that it's the African skill that has survived the test of time. Most of African skills have been lost along the way in the name of development. And this, the whole world has joined hands to conserve it. So we call it the back cloth. And this would be the media center of those days. So feel free, this one to, yeah, you can touch it. The more smooth you want it to be, the more you will have to pound it. We will happen to see a couple more as we walk around. Remember So almost about 200 years ago, Embe Mukabya, and later he was given a nickname from his people, and that is Mutesa. Mutesa means a statesman, a negotiator. The small houses we see around, those used to be houses for the king's wives. Mutesa had 84 wives. It was like that because the kings of Buganda a long time ago, they were required to marry from each clan. And so this was aimed at creating a direct relationship between the people the king leads and the royal family. And today, somebody could be wondering, how has Buganda survived? And it is still surviving even if Uganda is a republic. It's because of that remarkable method of administration. In front of us, we have the big building, which was built in 1882, and the king stayed here for only 2 years. We didn't find Mutesa here. He was living on a different hill called Rubaga, and now we have the Catholic Church on that hill. But because of smallpox, the king was forced to leave it, and he came here in 82. 2001, Kasubi Tombs was inscribed on the World Heritage List, and it's currently recognized as the biggest grass-thatched hut in the whole world of its kind. It's also a masterpiece of human creativity and a living testimony of our traditions. Somebody could be wondering, Uganda is rich in culture. How comes UNESCO only picked interest in one site? It's the only culture site in Uganda under UNESCO for one reason. Most of the other sites, they tend to look like museums. But Kasubi Tombs is a living heritage. It's not actually a tour here, it's an experience, because we share our history and culture with visitors. Yeah, as we slope down slowly. In 2010, we had the tragedy when the Kasubi Tombs was set on fire by a group of arsonists. It was a shame. It was very sad. It was hurting and touching, losing such a great heritage in flames of fire. But we managed to convince UNESCO that the skills of rebuilding such houses were not left in 1882s. We have moved along with them. And this has been proved for the past 13 years of Kasubi Tombs restoration. As soon as it was burnt, it was removed from the World Heritage List. And it was put in the World Endangered Sites. It has been added back recently, last year in October. UNESCO committee that sat in Abu Dhabi in Dubai has voted Kasubi Tombs back in the World Heritage List.
Ya Buganda.
Number one, the rules of succession are clear in Buganda. The firstborn son of the king never becomes a king. One time we had it, but this was putting the firstborns in danger. Most of the princes who were firstborns died early, and it was related to successional issues. So that is about 700 years ago. The king changed the tradition, so the first one never becomes a king. So the king picks from the second, third, going down. It's not limited, because picking a new king is not an expression of how much you love your children. It should be an expression of how much you love the kingdom. Sometimes your children may not have the qualities of leadership. Be honest to yourself and to your people. Then the king can be forced to pick from his brothers or brothers' sons. He mentions at least 3 names in his will, and he does not order the people he requests. So the clan heads, the chiefs, will look into the list of names, following them from 1, 2, 3, and then they'll appoint the next king. Yeah, but in most cases, the king lists the names of his choice, and he will request the kingdom chiefs to look into these ones. Yeah. King has several palaces, just like a president has state lodges within different areas, but the main one is on Mengo Hill. However, he doesn't stay there because of its dark history. In 1966, when they attacked the King's Palace, many people died in that palace. And so he lost interest of sleeping there. He only goes there for work. But he has his private residence, which is also a palace, on Ginger Road. It's called Banda Palace. That's where he stays. When the British came here, they found Buganda an independent monarchy with all structures of administration clearly established. And the very first constitution of Buganda is 1900 Buganda Agreement. It was signed between the British and the Kingdom of Buganda. One of the articles said, "We have realized the civilization level Buganda had reached on, and we cannot debate on this. We shall let Buganda lead itself in its traditional way, to be autonomous." And so this is the agreement. We moved on till independence. When we got our independence, 1962, our king was the first president, and Uganda was given a federal government. But 4 years after the independence, this constitution was abrogated. The agreement was damaged when it was changed in only one night to a republic. This was never agreed anywhere by the stakeholders of Uganda. So that's when we saw Buganda's autonomy going away. That was in 1967. 1993, when kingdoms were restored by the current president of Uganda, His Excellency Museveni. The king fruits we have here. So we're gonna go see the pictures of these kings, and then we'll close it that way. I think we shall communicate to you soon.
Sure.
Backcloth experience. People would want to see how the backcloth is made and how wonderful it would be to experience it in a UNESCO site. It's amazing, yeah? People would be interested in doing homestays, want to spend time with one of the king's widows. How do they live? How do they manage? But of course, there has been a huge debate on how this can be done without interfering with the intangible values, because it shouldn't be too much of tourist experience. So balancing the boat, but we are almost there. What can somebody carry back home and convince people that they visited Buganda? These are the paintings we are doing. I am one of those artists.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Which one is yours?
I have made the